Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time for another installment of the Tomii Healing Hour. The one show, maybe the only show that tries to show you some alternative paths to healing, including acupressure and other things from an Eastern point of view. Welcome, if you will, Dr. Chen, Dr. Lida Chen, who joins us again today here with one of his patients to talk about how he came to try your services and what he's got out of it. Right, Dr. Chen?
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone.
I know I always do a disclaimer here. Dr. Chen's first language is not English, so we're gonna be patient with him here. But a guy who's well, maybe he's from New York. Maybe his first language isn't English either. David Friedman's.
Yeah, it's actually Sweat Hog Brooklyn.
yo,
yo, bro.
Yo, bro. David Friedman, I've known for years as used to be called Tech Coast Angels. Now it's what, TCA Venture Group?
Correct.
And it's a collection of investors, angel investors like David, who are always looking for new things and the greatest things. You have chapters, what, in LA and Pasadena, and is there one in San Diego too?
We used to have one in San Diego. Now we have Meta Angels out of Washington, and we just introduced a new network in Georgia, Florida, and we have an accelerator called Pegasus Angel Accelerator up in LA.
So you're always looking for alternative ideas. You're always looking for new things to explore, but not in your personal life. You were what before? You've told me the story before. What big company were you with? You were for years. You were with.
Well, several different companies. The last one that got me to California was a company called Boeing.
Toeing, I think I heard of that one. A little company called Boeing. Yeah, exactly.
Company.
So after you retired from all that, you went into took your pile of cash here and said, "I'm going to see if I can't multiply it some more here," and got into angel investing. What's that been like? How does what? Let's talk about that journey for a second. How do you decide I'm not just going to sit at home? I'm going to try and roll the dice with some of the money I've collected here.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's so much money to collect, but there's no logical reason, especially today, where the 70 or 60 is the new 40 or 50.
Yeah, right.
So when I left the corporate world, as you get older, they don't want to hire you. They don't think the younger generation thinks that we have no conceptual value.
Yeah.
We don't understand technology. And I'm a technologist. I have a few degrees in electrical engineering, so I fairly well know this, at least technology, because that's what I've worked in. And I decided way back when I was a kid, I actually wanted to be a VC. I wanted to become a venture capitalist.
I never even heard that term when I was a kid. We're not that far apart here. I never heard VCs or venture capitalists.
Yeah, I was on the forefront of stuff. Remember, I'm a techie, so when I graduated college, I had opportunities in New York. I had opportunities in New Jersey with Bell Labs, where I started, and I also had opportunities in the Valley, and that's where the VCs were.
Right.
So I decided when I left the corporate world, being a VC was not going to happen. I didn't have that much money, and it was a different model. But the angel financing world sounded very intriguing, so I joined TCA in 2008, 2009, and I've been with them ever since, and I absolutely love it.
So in the world of investments, you're always looking for what? 10x return, something that you can multiply 10 times here. That seems to be the magic number here.
Correct.
And does it have to scale quickly, or will they ride with it all? Because that's the problem with all biotech and biomedicine, all kind of stuff. We're at UCI's Applied Innovation Center. It takes years to develop this kind of stuff. Health does not seem to attract the kind of angel money that other things you can quickly turn around, an app or I don't know, something. I come up with something else here, or some other tech thing.
Right. But it's funny. Again, I'm an engineer. I come out of the communications, internet, software background.
Right.
But most of my individual investments, other than the fund, have been in medical device.
Really?
Now, there's two perspectives to that. Number one, I don't mind it taking more than 5 years to get an exit. In fact, I don't want an exit until 5 years and 1 day. Because if I own preferred shares or stock, then I have a preferential tax treatment. It's called the 1202 rule.
Never knew that. Okay.
And there's no federal tax, and in many states, there's no state tax. California, of course.
You don't get a tax on whatever the return is?
If it's in a startup, what they call qualified small business.
Okay.
So it's check with your accountant. Don't believe me entirely. But so I'm not interested in a quick return. But the other thing that really is kind of interesting from my perspective is when I look at a deal, I like medical diagnostics and I like medical device because I can understand them as an engineer and as a technician,
Right.
sort of. And I've invested a lot. My thinking is when I look at a deal, if I can use it in 5, 10 years, I'm interested in learning more, and that's
Okay.
really it. And I've invested in several companies individually as well as through our funds. And TCA has 4 funds in LA, Pasadena, Meta, and TCA Orange County. But the individual investments have been all over the board. We've done one that I was involved in is Limber Therapeutics, which is down in San Diego. It does prosthetics using what they call a unileg. I'm a board observer there. And then one up here that I'm extremely excited about is Bill Cologne's Single Pass, which is an electrocauterization system for deep tissue biopsy.
I know you're talking English, but I have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah,
here, so-
okay. Well, we can chat GPT that, but basically it's a long needle that does cauterization of tissue because in a biopsy, if you go too deep, you'll have bleeders.
Yeah.
And you don't want to cause problems after you do the biopsy.
And cauterizing stops the bleeding.
This
Right.
one's, so this one's called Single Pass. So I'm real excited about Bill and his team doing that, and there's others as well. Now, we invest in a variety of things as well, and I ran into Tomii and Lighter in 2019. I was doing some consulting for them, and then we kept in touch. We stopped the consulting with each other, but we kind of became friends.
Right.
And about 5 months ago, I started experiencing these neck pains and experiencing what I call sticky eustachian tube. It was driving me nuts.
Yeah.
So I went to the
Like your
ENT.
ears plugged all the time.
Yeah, I felt like I came off an airplane. I couldn't get them unplugged. So I went to the ENT and they said, try this, try that.
Right.
We can always do this. We can always do that.
Did they first they give you some kind of drops or medication or something?
Yeah,
Probably too.
they said take an antihistamine and take Flonase and good luck. And then we,
Okay.
so I went back.
And that'll be
a couple of times.
$200.
I don't care. I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, I didn't care what the cost is. I just wanted to get this thing fixed.
Right.
And then and then my neck was bothering me. And I kept thinking there's a relationship, but I'm not really sure if there is. It
Right.
just seemed to be logical, but probably illogical.
So as you go back to your ENT or your regular doctor,
Yep.
your ear, nose, and throat guy, and they're saying, okay, have they seen this before? Did they see it as something they could address, or was kind of like one of those things, which there are so many of these days, not really sure what it is, but
Yeah.
try this.
Yeah, I'm sure they've seen it. It's called eustachian tube dysfunction, which is a category of whatever we can't figure out, we'll put it as eustachian tube dysfunction.
Exactly.
So it's dysfunctional. So I'm saying this is crazy because it's been going on for days and weeks, and the pills weren't helping.
It's not tinnitus or whatever.
No,
it's not a
tonight.
ringing or whatever.
No ringing. I wish it were. I'd answer it.
So
but it didn't work.
When you go back to them, now you come back a couple of times and you say, hey, this isn't working, doc. And they're like,
Right.
Now, what's their... I know where this is going because I've been through these things myself. If it's something they can't readily identify, then it's either a pill or a procedure. Were they talking procedures? Where they want to go in and take a look?
I was talking procedures. I'm looking at things that, putting little... like they do with little kids, putting a little channel in your eardrum,
right.
or doing a coring out of the eustachian tube.
I've seen where they actually take... I had a period like this myself years ago when I was much younger, and they talked about somehow actually like piercing your eardrum with a little tube or something.
Right. That's the tube stuff. But the other one is there's a procedure. It's about 50% effective, where they go in and they actually go in through the eustachian tube and core it out to make it like wider.
Oh, geez.
And I said, this is crazy. So I was kidding around with the doctors. I said, look, I want you to now do a study and do a report, and maybe you can get into the AMA on a problem that you're going to be named. It's named sticky eustachian tube. There's no name for that. It's just my name. And then I said, okay, I can't figure it out from the traditional medicine, so I'll try acupuncture. So I was doing acupuncture, and that helped somewhat. And then I was doing...
You know why? You don't seem like an acupuncture kind of guy.
I love acupuncture.
Do you?
Absolutely.
Here's the scientific background that many would say, well, you're going to doubt anything that's not
Nope.
Western medicine.
Not at all. I have used acupuncture when I had tennis elbow, when I had stiff shoulder.
Those chronic conditions that Western medicine just goes, here, take a pill. We'll cover it up here.
Yeah. So I happen to believe in integrative medicine. I don't believe in one approach. And I did enough reading and studying. I have a lot of friends from Asia, and they said, try this, try that. So I tried everything. I was doing acupuncture. I was doing chiropractic. I was taking pills. And then I was talking to Tomii and to Leiter, and he said, well, come in and I'll treat you. I want to put you on my chi analyzer. You're out of balance.
Yeah.
I told him I'm out of balance. My wife tells me that all the time.
We've known that for a while.
Yeah, I mean, no question. So he did the first reading on his chi analyzer, which I have seen, and that part still, is amazing to me. I don't know if it's right or wrong or whatever it is, but it's black magic. But
let's stop on that for 1 second, because it is kind of like black magic. I've been through this myself, as we just said in the show. And when I come in, I don't know if he's just waving a voodoo stick or a magic wand, or if it really has a scientific background. I know that Dr. Chen, prior to this, was what you worked with sensor technology. That's what you trained for in China, and built a company where you built sensors of different kinds of things, right, Dr. Chen? Something like that?
Yeah, we have the innovation Tomii Meridian Energy Chi Analyzer System. This is the scientific approach, AI powered. We measure David's chi. We found the triple burning meridian and the gallbladder meridian, the chi totally blockage.
And again,
well, that
we're
doesn't
going to
make me feel any better.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure I understand that any more than what he was saying before. But let's just talk about that for a second, because the problem, as I see it, of acceptance of Western, of Eastern medicine, of other approaches, Indian Ayurvedic, Chinese medicine, all these other things, is it's all based on an idea of energy flowing through the body. And Western medicine says, where's this energy? I don't see this. We know there's some electrical energy in the body. We can test that. But they don't see these meridians that have been charted out, these things that connect your organs to your outer extremities here, these pressure points that we've all learned to, you press your wrist if you feel nausea or between your head. We know there's something to it. It's been around for thousands of years. And I think even doctors admit there's something to it, like they're using acupuncture now for pain relief and nausea and stuff. But they can't measure it, right? That's the problem. They can't believe what they can't see. Isn't that the problem, Dr. Chen? And you were kind of in that same thing. When you got into this, you were like, we've told you story many times how you had terrible diabetes, like really bad diabetes. It was incapacitating you. And you went to traditional Western medicine, even though you're in China, didn't get anywhere any more than David did. And you started investigating your own, this traditional idea of chi and energy. And you said, I got to measure this. I'm not just going to guess. If there is energy flowing through me, I don't want to just guess what meridian, start sticking pins into it and see what happens. So he started trying to use his scientific background in sensors that you use for other sorts of things, and you applied it. Where did you study? You studied in Australia and some other places, sensors?
Yeah, I graduated from Zhejiang University in 1983 with the remote sensing with the...
You told me you were a lot older.
Well, all these Chinese guys, they are hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
And so you took that approach and started off this long journey to do what I don't think anybody's figured out or even tried to figure out, is can we measure this chi, and by measuring it, can we get a better diagnosis of if there is some blockage in this mysterious energy system? Is that a fair way to say you found a way to take this imperceptible amount of energy, not only monitor and measure it, but then write some software that tells you what does that mean inside?
Yeah, we have the software and the sensor to map out the blockage meridian and also imbalance the Zang and the Fu. This is the underlying cause of the chronic condition. So we, under the guidance of this, found out the maps. We do the combination of the acupressure, cupping, and all this natural therapy.
And we'll get into that in a minute, but the idea is then first figure out if there is a blockage in the system. What do you think, David? Is there an energy? There's no scientific proof of this yet.
Well, but I can understand that, because if I think about, I'm putting my engineer cap on.
Yeah.
If I think about, the body is a system of elements, and it's really consisting of two parts: a chemical system and an electrical system.
Okay.
And there's a plumbing system. I guess you can throw that in. So let's say I have an electrical system that that have a short in. That really disturbs the way the the amperage flows.
And that could be nerves, or I guess do nerves function?
Could be
that way?
anything.
Yeah.
Could be nerves. It could be an inflammation. It could be something else.
Right.
So I really believe that there's something there. Now, I still don't understand the Chi analyzer, nor do I really want to. I just want the results.
Okay.
But when I went in there, he set up a program, and I was very leery. Because
Me
he said,
too. I really was.
Well,
yeah.
so was I. I mean, he's telling me I'm out of balance. I have a bad gallbladder meridian. I have a bad triple burning
whatever
meridian.
that is. Yeah.
I still can't figure it out. But I see he points on the chart. He says, "Look, this is exactly where it is." I'm looking at 2,000 points on my body and saying, "Okay, you can see it. I don't, but I don't care. Just tell me to get me the result." 'Cause
Right.
This was not a pleasant experience to have you come off you feel like you're off an airplane
All
every
the time.
day of your life. Yeah. So he put me through. He said, "Well, we're going to do this. You'll come back, a couple times a week for a period of a few times." And then he also recommended some pills, which I still can't figure out because they're all in Chinese. I don't
Right.
know what it is. But he said, take 10 in the morning, 10 in the evening.
And these would be like some kind of herbal thing, right? Because Chinese medicine.
I can't tell you what they look like, but yeah. It was some kind of Chinese herbs that I've never heard of, nor is it in any dictionary that I know.
Right, exactly. It only grows under a rock in China. Here.
But between taking those pills and what Leiter was able to do in terms of acupressure and cupping and deep massage, I felt like I was getting a shiatsu massage plus cupping and all. It seemed to work, and I haven't had the problem in my ears mostly for the last 3-4 weeks, which is phenomenal. So it flares up occasionally, but
Right.
I nicknamed him Dr. Pain because getting cupping and getting acupressure is not necessarily the most pleasurable experience.
No, let's talk about that because it is the deepest of deep tissue massages. What I'm always amazed.
Don't encourage him.
I think he's got a little sadistic side or
I mean,
something.
look at his smile.
But the way I explain it to people is he comes in and waves this wand, and what they really do is they're touching in different pressure points, and then
Right.
that wand is connected to the computer, sends the signal back, and the
Right.
software he's written analyzes that and says, "Oh, here's what it's telling me." All right, so he using the traditional Chinese meridian system of what, 12, 13 meridians? I forgot how many
Right,
there
right.
are.
12 meridian. Yeah.
He goes back and he looks at this and he says pretty quick, and he charts it out in front of you. He's a good scientist. You can see it last week's and this week's, and you can chart it. And then he says, okay, you got triple burning problem. You got a gallbladder meridian problem, whatever. And you say, okay. And here's what I'm leading to. You lay down on the table like you're going to get a deep tissue massage, and he says, I'll bet it hurts here. And it's behind your ankle or behind your ear or some place that you don't touch yourself. You don't ever think about this. And all of a sudden I go, ow, that really hurts. And he's like, see, I told you, it's a blockage there. And I think to myself, if this is just baloney, how did he know right where to go and that it hurts? That can't be good that it hurts there.
There's a uniqueness in that methodology. I mean, the problem with Leiter is I said, it hurts, stop. He says, no, now we got to really address it.
Yeah, right. And
You
so
know.
and it's through that kind of deep kneading massaging, which you would normally go to, unlock your tension in your muscles or open up your nerves or your blood flow. I don't know, whatever they describe.
It's like breaking a short in an electrical system.
Exactly. So then he goes in and needs that, it works. And then this other thing, I'm still not sure I understand this thing called cupping. Which
Oh,
is
I love cupping. except I don't. You've done cupping, right?
I have.
For all those out there, and I've actually used it in my physical therapist's office too.
Really?
Because it puts pressure and relieves pressure on the on your muscles.
How would you describe cupping, Dr. Chen? You take this glass cup and then you're sucking you're sucking all the air out of it, so it sucks onto it, right? It creates a suction cup kind of onto your body.
Then I'll give you my attitude after he says
All right,
it.
so what else? I mean, I'm describing this poorly, but describe what you do and why this traditional idea of cupping, what it's supposed to do. After you've massaged and broken up the, whatever you want to call it, you can feel them, the tension, the knots. We all know, get these things. You break those up, maybe the blood flows, maybe the nerve isn't pinched, or whatever's magic happening. You say the energy's flowing again. What does the cupping do? How do you do it, and what does it do?
Like the freeway, the traffic accident happened, so all the blockage the freeway.
But
so
be more graphic.
The cupping is like the big truck come in, move out of the trash
Okay.
car.
I still don't picture it though.
If
You take a glass cup
if
and
you
you put.
use the hand do the acupressure will not strong, powerful enough to move out the blockage. So we use the cupping to, it's powerful, go deeper.
And why does a suction cup work? What does that do? You say it actually, because here's what Dave is going to tell you. You get this big red spot. You look like an octopus attached.
It looks like an elephant gave you giant hickeys.
Yeah. I mean, it gets, not always, but sometimes I had one a while ago, and he's like, oh, very bad. And I look, I'm sorry to mock the way you're talking, but he's like, very bad. And I look at this thing and I go, oh my God, no, not over here where you cup. That one's okay. But this one is like bright red.
That's right. That's right. And then he says, it's working. It's working.
Yeah. And what is working? Is it pulling the toxins out? Is it relieving the tension again? Is it?
Yeah. So when the cupping will have a mark, the marker can be red, can be dark, can be the different color. So it's different color shows a different toxin inside your body.
So that's really it's the suction literally pulling them to the surface. That's the theory.
Yeah. And whatever it is, I'll tell you, if you're leery about it, that's great. But I feel that because of these acupressure and cupping and the pills that he gave me, it's helped to get to me about 80-85% of where it was before these problems came up. So whatever it is, I don't care what you call it. I really don't care about the meridians.
Right.
I don't care about the pain, actually. I do care about the pain.
Right.
But I don't care about the color of these cupping marks all over my body. It worked for me.
And that's what I tell people. I say, I don't know. I get the theory of what it is. I don't know if I understand it completely, or even if I accept all these ideas and meridians and all this stuff. But when you got a chronic condition, you go to the doctor over and over, and they say, I don't know, take a pill, or we'll go in and operate and do something. I'm like, I don't want to do that. That sounds even worse. And you try any of these alternative approaches like Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic, or other sorts of things, and you get in there and you get some result. He's always trying to explain it like an electrician to me. Okay, think of the electrical wiring in your body, and I'm going to go do this. And I said, when I hire an electrician at my house, I don't want to hear the wiring in my house. I just want I flick the switch and it goes on again.
Well, that's exactly what that Qi analyzer does, because when after the last time I was there, it's a couple of weeks ago, he went through the Qi analyzer and says, look, you're perfectly balanced except for this one little minor area.
Yeah, there you go.
But it was the difference between... Again, I don't understand it. I don't know it, but I like to see charts. And when it says green versus red, that to me means good.
Yeah,
I felt, and I'm listening to my body, and it feels good, feels better. I cannot say anything more than thank you. I mean, it's great.
Well, I'd like to see, and I think it's already happening, this idea of integrative medicine. We've had others on this show and other shows we've done. Right here, the Samueli Integrative Medicine Clinic, set up by Susan Samueli, the wife of Henry Samueli, one of the founders of Broadcom Chips here. She apparently is a big believer. I've never had a chance to talk to her about it, but she funded this idea of trying to bring East and West together, trying to integrate the practices of both, particularly for these chronic conditions that Western medicine has no answer for, except a pill to cover it up or procedure to try and cut it up. There doesn't seem, and many of these, my back hurts, my stomach hurts, my pain won't go away, I can't sleep. I mean, all these kind of chronic conditions, people talk about serious things, fibromyalgia or whatever, and doctors say, I'm not even sure there is such a thing. But women complain about it all the time, this persistent pain that won't go away. And I think there's a lot of those things out there that we're open to trying new ideas, partly because we don't want to get cut up or take pills, and partly because even when you do that, that's not a guarantee it fixes it.
See, I have a theory that a lot of the problems in a person's body, like fibromyalgia, neuritis, neuropathies, lack of sleep, even things like AFib and colitis, they're all due.
My son-in-law has colitis. My wife has AFib. There's no answer for any of those things.
Well, there are some answers, but
there's severe answers usually.
Well, yeah, severe surgery, right. But what I think happens is that in today's modern world, you wind up with stresses. And I think the stresses create different problems for people in different ways.
Yeah.
Now, when you do the manipulation, you do the acupressure, it's like when you feel bad, you want to feel better, you go in for a massage.
Right.
This is deep tissue massage, and if you think about the theory of what he's trying to do, remove blockages along certain pathways in your system, and your system's an electrical system, and there's a mechanical component, which is your muscles, and your muscles get pinched or
pinch the nerve.
Right. This makes sense to me, and I think that a lot more people are using integrative medicine and Chinese medicine coupled with traditional Western medicine more and more lately. And
if I need my knee replaced, I'm not going to Dr. Chen. But if I got a persistent problem that won't go away, I'm open to trying it. And for me, it's worked too. So I'm with you. I think we're open to the idea of it. There's more and more of these chronic conditions, and I suspect it is because of the life we live. It's the Western disease of tension and stress and anxiety and all those things, and too much work and crappy diets and et cetera, et cetera. Does he ever beat you up like he beats me up? I come in, I'm drinking a Coke or something. He says, "Oh, don't drink that." You know, that's very bad for him.
I'm not that foolish. My wife beats me up for drinking Coke, so I'm not going to even carry one in there. But no, I will usually carry a seltzer water with me.
Good. All right. Well,
at best.
I've learned to do better than that.
But he also has the magnolia tea that he says is really good. So I always drink the magnolia tea.
Oh, it's not magnolia. What is it? It's something. It's a mulberry.
Mulberry tea.
Mulberry tea.
Yeah, so, mulberry, magnolia. It's the same thing with the meridians. They all look alike.
So, Dr. Chen, final word to you. You believe this. It cured you.
So
it helped you.
Tomii Healing System is the scientific approach to Eastern medicine effectively manage the chronic condition, not just relieve the chronic pain. Recently, we have helped people balance the blood glucose. For example, help myself or for many people to have diabetes type 2, balance the blood glucose naturally. And also, recently we have helped several people have the balance the blood pressure naturally. That feels very good. So next month we will have a podcast program talk about the balance the blood pressure.
Okay.
So the principle
and again, I just want to, for everybody's sake, this is not FDA approved. This hasn't all been scientifically vetted and checked out. This is anecdotal stories that we're sharing with people.
Right.
Consult your own physician if they're open to this other alternative approaches. More and more into this integrative idea of trying other things here, and it's really there to help. There's no cure implied in any of this. This isn't a medicine show. It's based on a traditional theory that he's created a scientific approach for.
And I think there's one other component. It's not one answer is the answer.
Right.
So it's not just pills or not. I'm not denigrating my ENT. I think it's fantastic. I'm not denigrating the acupuncturist or the chiropractor or anyone. I think you have to learn and understand what your own body wants to do, how it works. And I don't know what really worked. It could be just a combination of what Leiter did and what the others did in combination that made it better. But frankly, to my mind, I don't care.
I'm with you.
I just wanted it corrected.
These chronic conditions are maddening, and they keep you up at night. You lose sleep, you lose productivity, and it hurts. And we've talked about mine before and others that I've seen come in there. It's a wide range of things that Western medicine doesn't have an easy answer for. If they do, it's usually pretty severe. And I'm sorry, at my age, once they start cutting me up, it seems like more things happen and not less. I saw that with my parents. The more my mother had chronic pain, and they started cutting in and they literally cut a nerve in her neck in desperation, and that just made everything worse. So. Anyway, thank you, Dr. Chen. You're on to something. I don't know what it is. Well, how do they find you or reach you if they want to learn more about the Tomii Healing System? You got one clinic right now up in Anaheim, and you're licensing this to others around the country. You got 6 or other 8.
We have 8 business partners over the Northern California, Houston, and even in Australia, so in New York. And also,
these are people like naturopath doctors or Eastern acupuncturists, other people who want to zero in on this idea of finding the energy and
we have a collaboration agreement with the Constrong Wellness Group based on the Houston, Texas.
There you go. Well, it's not just you. You've been doing this for how long? For 15 years or something like that?
More than 15 years.
15 years. And it's starting to catch word. I mean, you always had a thriving practice, but now others seem to be catching on to the story here. How do they find you? Where do they go if they want to?
Yeah, we our website is Tomii, TOMII.US, or phone number is 714-998-0128. You're welcome to the Tomii to get the free.
And what does Tomii mean again? You told me.
Free analyzer. Tomii is your pathway to healthy and energy.
That actually word means something in like Japanese or Chinese or something here.
通向美丽和健康。
Whatever you said, I agree. All right. All right. Thank you for coming in, David, and for sharing. You know, here you are, this analyzing high-level stuff, and when it came to your own life, you said, "Let me try one of these things," and it seems to have worked for you here.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. One more reason to tune in each and every time to learn more about the other alternative pathways that are available, like the Tomii Healing and Wellness System. Right here in the Tomii Healing and Wellness Hour, brought to you by Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio.